right, we are here. Our next animal is a really sharp dresser. In fact, he always looks like he is ready for a night on the town. We're talking about penguins. They are dressed to impress, and they're a favorite attraction of wildlife tours and zoos everywhere. Penguins are just cute. They walk upright, are playful, innocent, and so entertaining. They have got to be one of the most unusual birds in the world. Did you know that penguins only live south of the equator in the Antarctic? There are none in the North Pole. Unusual. Anyway, penguins range in size from little ones about a foot tall to the emperor penguin, which is about 3 feet tall. However, fossils have been discovered of emperor penguins, which are over 8 feet tall. Imagine meeting one of those on a walk. When the cold season comes, most animals want to head to a warmer climate, but not the emperor penguin. He will head closer to the South Pole, into the cold. The emperor penguin is about to undertake a Herculean task to lay their egg and raise their young in a climate that is one of the most forbidding on the planet. It's an achievement that is nothing short of incredible. So what are you going to order?
The female will lay an egg, puts it on the male's feet, and then the male keeps that egg on his feet, and he has an egg pouch that kind of goes around the egg, and it keeps that egg at 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Now we'd say, well, so what? Well, sometimes in the winter, down there in the Antarctica, the temperature is 100 degrees, even more than that, below zero, with 100-mile-per-hour wind, which is an incredible wind chill, and that egg is only a couple inches off the ice, and that male penguin keeps that egg warm and keeps it on his feet. If he gets it off the feet, it'll freeze in about 2 minutes. So he has to keep that on his feet. Now, the female gives him the egg, and then she takes off. She's going to go eat. So she walks across the ice pack, and sometimes at this point, the ice pack may be 30, 40 miles long. And she has to walk out there. She goes off into the ocean. And she will be eating and feeding in the ocean for 2.5 months. And meanwhile, here's Daddy Penguin, and he's taking care of the egg. But he can't eat, and he doesn't drink for up to 2.5 months. He loses up to 40% of his body weight while he's taking care of that egg. That's his main function. I mean, you think standing for 2.5 months on an ice pack with 100 below zero, 100-mile-per-hour wind chill, and their feet don't freeze? I mean, that's a miracle in itself, the way God designed that. All right, so Mama's out there feeding. Daddy's taking care of the egg. It's 100 below zero, and these penguins live in huge flocks. And so what the male does is, he will be on the outside of the flock where it's cold, and he puts his back to the wind, and he starts to get cold. I gotta warm up. So he starts moving in toward the center of the big flock. And then other ones will move from the center out to the outside. So they keep rotating out. And so none of them freeze. They know, okay, now it's my turn to go out and get cold for a while, and my turn to go warm up for a while. And they do all this. Now here's Mom out here swimming and eating. And all of a sudden, at some kind of an unknown signal, she decides, oh, I gotta get back. My chick is almost ready to be hatched out. And so Mama Penguin heads back home. They're supposedly a bird that lost its ability to fly. Well, the evolutionists haven't come up with any ancestors for the penguins. So what kind of a bird was it that became a penguin that lost its ability to fly? But they really do fly, because they fly underwater. And you watch them in some underwater shots with their fins, and they just use those fins like wings underwater. And they can get such force that they can jump out of the water up onto an ice pack, and some can go as far as 30 feet. They come, whoom, and they pop up out of the water and land up here. Well, now she's been out in the ocean for 2.5 months, sometimes even a little longer than that. And now it's winter, so the ice pack has grown. And so now maybe instead of 30 or 40 miles, she might have 50 or 60 miles of ice pack to walk across to get back Well, now here's this whole flock of thousands of male penguins, each with an egg. How is she going to find Daddy? How is she going to find her mate? Well, somehow or another, and the scientists think that they understand the call. And yet you think about that. Here are thousands of male penguins, whatever they do to chirp, and here comes Mama Penguin listening for her particular male, and she can find her male. Now, here's one of the mysteries of this whole thing. More often than not, she goes back and finds her male on the very day that the chick is born. How can that be? She's got to walk over 50, 60 miles of ice pack and come out of the ocean and find where they are. I mean, you're thinking, well, this flock here, just how many? Takes up a couple football fields maybe, in all these miles and miles of ice, and yet she can find her male. She does it right on time. Now, she has brought back with her partially digested fish from the ocean, and she carries them with her in her stomach. And now the scientists aren't exactly sure how she does that so that the fish doesn't rot and it doesn't really digest. It's preserved in a form that acts as food for the chick. And some scientists say maybe they have some sort of an antibiotic that they manufacture so that the food doesn't just rot, but they get it back. And now Daddy and Mommy Bird take care of the baby bird until spring. And now that the ice is melting back, and they take the baby and they go swimming. These penguins spend most of their life in the open water, in the open sea. There are some of these penguins that are in the ocean 9 months out of the year. That means they have to sleep in the ocean, and nobody has observed that, which is an incredible thing right there in and of itself. They're also playful. They'll find an ice slide, and they'll slide down that slide, and they'll waddle right back up to the top, slide down again. So they like to play. Sometimes when you see penguins, it's almost like they're playing follow the leader. They just follow each other. Boom, 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 boom. Up they go. And what are they thinking? How do they decide who's going to be first? I think maybe the penguin is an animal that's just made for us to enjoy.